Welcome you again in this special course of television news production. Myself, Dr. Harish Kumar, and I'm welcoming you all in the process of virtual learning. And today we are going to discuss about news anchoring, a few basic tips. So students, before we move further, let us tell you something about the objectives behind this particular course. The objectives of this course is to help students to develop practical understanding of television news production. The idea behind this is to help students in identifying and developing skills related with writing, reporting, and producing of different television news programs. So I'm hopeful that this particular lecture will be fruitful for you in this particular regard. So students, as we were discussing about news anchoring, a few basic tips. So firstly, we should know who are anchor. Or nowadays we also used to say that there is a concept of presenter also. So news presenter or anchor are an integral part of the overall packaging and presentation of television news channel. They are the mediators between a channel and the viewers. Anchors try to maintain the continuity between different segments of a program or a news bulletin. And many times it happens that we are going to watch a particular news bulletin because of a particular news anchor. So news anchors have created their own identity. They have created a kind of image. They have developed a kind of image. And on the basis of that image, we are also going to watch a particular kind of news bulletin. So that is why it is important for us to create the kind of image, the image which is based on the fact of credibility. There should not be any biasness, and there are different kinds of things that we have to consider in this particular regard, and we are going to discuss all these things one by one. So as far as basic tips for news anchoring is concerned, there are a few things that each and every news anchor should consider. And if you also want to become a good anchor, then you are supposed to follow these rules. And if you are going to follow, you are going to incorporate these things in your news anchoring, then definitely you are going to create a strong image in front of the viewers. So the first thing in this regard is clarity in speech. Whatever you are saying, the things should be clear. Clarity in language, clarity whenever you are going to create a kind of meaning. So if there is no clarity in your voice or in your thought, so definitely it is going to create a problem. And clarity comes when you are having in-depth knowledge of the subject. So knowledge is also one of the important things because you can't deviate from the subject. And if you don't have proper knowledge, then definitely you will not have that confidence in your news anchoring. So knowledge comes from different kinds of content. Whenever we are going to watch different programs, whenever you are reading different content, whenever you are just talking with different person, and if you are a good observer, then definitely you are going to get some knowledge from that. So knowledge is one of the important factor. And body language, because in news anchoring there's a concept of verbal and non-verbal communication both. The way you're going to raise your hand, your facial expression is also important. Your dressing sense also matters a lot. So that is why whenever you are going to do anchoring, you have to make your own impression in this regard. Sometimes it is showing that you're so arrogant. Sometimes the people are getting masses that you're not confident one. Sometimes it happens that you are not so much confidence because your facial expression is saying something else. So that's why body language is very important. It is showing your confidence level, and sometimes we are going to communicate with the help of only our body language. Another thing is very important, voice modulation. According to the story, according to the news, a particular news anchor is going to communicate in a particular way. The way you are going to develop a particular kind of thought, the way you are going to emotionally connect with the audience. If you are having a proper voice modulation, then definitely you are going to accomplish your task properly. If there is any particular thing which requires your patience level, which requires that you should speak in a little bit brief manner, or if there is a news in which you have to show that you are very happy to share that particular information, then accordingly your voice should be communicated. You should communicate with that particular voice. Your tone should be such. And if you're going to incorporate these things, then definitely you'll be able to make a good news bulletin. We should not forget that command over language is also very important. We should be, bilingual in nature as far as the language is concerned. But there is a prime language in which we are going to read a particular kind of news, or we are going to make a particular news bulletin in one particular language. And that's why it requires that you must have proper command over language. You should know about different terms that you can use. There should be clarity. Your pronunciation should be also be proper. Apart from it, you should also get meaning from that particular language. So whether there is a kind of English news bulletin or it is a Hindi news bulletin, your command on language is one of the essential thing for an effective news anchoring, and it comes from the exposure that you are going to get, and that's why there should be proper rehearsal also. If you are having any difficulty in language, then just take the help of a different person in this regard, and in this way you can come out of your hesitation level. Nowadays, actually, news anchors are performing various kinds of things simultaneously. At one particular hand, they are going to follow up the command of producer. If anything happens at a sudden, or if there is any important news, the way that particular news should be presented. So from time to time, we are getting some command from the producer also. So a particular news anchor should have incorporate all these things, the kind of information which a producer is going to provide. And as I was telling you earlier, that your dressing sense is also very important, and that's why there should be proper dressing sense. And you should know about that many times it happens that there is a chroma also. So you should not wear the kind of dress which is same as same of chroma. Like you should avoid these kinds of dresses, and generally we used to just wear bright colors. So these things are very important, and apart from it, the confidence and ability to pick up lines quickly for sight reading. Sometimes we are going to get some breaking news of things, and in breaking news, what happens that you don't have a lot of sentences in front of you that you can speak through teleprompter, and that's why in between you are supposed to use your own brain. If you are having knowledge of the subject, then definitely you are going to do the things properly. So you're going to get some confidence after repeated kind of things. If you are having great exposure, you are having reading and writing skill, then definitely you are going to just develop these kinds of things. So it requires that you should update yourself for current affairs. What is happening? The things which are happening not only to your near to your house, or not only to the country, but the things which are happening across the world. So you should just try to update yourself each and every time. And different renowned anchors, they are just they are just making themselves aware about what is happening. So on the basis of it, you are going to develop your own intellectual level, and this is very helpful for news anchoring. We should not forget that whenever we are going to do any news anchoring, you should follow journalistic ethics. You should not just try to intrude the privacy of any other person. You should not just disclose identity of a person if it requires that if there is any particular person, and that particular person, you feel that that particular person's identity should not be disclosed, then you should not disclose the identity of the person. And apart from it, you should not be biased one in your own approach. So these things are very important, and one of the most important thing is that you should be capable of operating a teleprompter. Nowadays, whenever you are going to read a news bulletin, you are going to take the help of a teleprompter, and teleprompter is really very helpful for you, because with the help of teleprompter, you are going to read the whole story. So that's why you should be capable of controlling the command or scrolling words. In teleprompter the words are scrolling, and that's why you should be capable of giving proper command. Generally what we do, generally as far as reading words are concerned, we are going to put all these things in middle. So because our eye level is also very important, because our eye level should be such that the viewer should feel that you are watching them, and there should not be any impact of reading. So you should keep yourself paced with a teleprompter, and as far as font style or font size is concerned, it should also be such a which can bring some kind of comfort. You should not experiment with the font style, and you should avoid the kind of using the kind of fonts which are not legible properly. In this particular manner, you can do news anchoring properly. And apart from it, as far as news anchors are concerned, you should develop your own unique style. You should not just try to follow others. They could be your idol, but you should develop your own style if you want to survive for a longer time. So in this particular slide, I'm just going to just display in front of you that how a news anchor used to perform various kinds of duties at the same time. As you're watching right now, this concept of PCR. PCR is a production control room. In production control room, we are going to get some commands, and they keep on observing uh, the activities which are running in the studio. So basically, as a news anchor, you have to perform certain kind of things. What you are going to do, you're going to invite guests in your studio. You're going to link with them, and many times it happens nowadays because many persons are virtually connected. uh, it doesn't mean that all the guests will come in the studio only. They might be at different places, but a news anchor used to connect with them. And apart from it, as I told you earlier, that a particular news anchor uh, is also supposed to operate teleprompter in a very effective manner. And at the same time, you should also just think about viewers, because viewers are just observing you properly. They are watching a particular kind of channel because you are doing anchoring for that particular program. There might be a possibility. So apart from it, how you are going to get different kinds of information, the kind of sources which are available for you. You are going to get some information from reporters. You are going to get some information from any other person. There might be a concept of phono also. If a particular person is not available, then you are going to make a call, and you are going to just get the view of that particular person. So simultaneously, you are going to perform various kinds of things. You are just, you are just going to get some command from PCR, production control room. You're going to just just listen all these things, all the commands. You're going to connect with the reporters if it requires. You're going to break a news story. On the basis of your presence of mind, you're going to lead that particular story. You are also effectively operating a teleprompter, and in the meantime you're taking care about all the things which I just told you earlier. So in this particular manner, I'm hopeful that you'll also become a good news anchor. So dear students, today I just told you about a few basic tips how you can do a good news anchoring. Basically, in the field of communication, each and every news anchor should create a kind of impact. And you can create a kind of impact on the basis of these kinds of things, on the basis of your knowledge, the way you are going to express yourself, whether you are biased one or you are not biased one, if you are having a credibility and you are having in-depth knowledge of the subject. And one of the most important thing is that you must have command over the language. There must be clarity in your voice, and you should have you should have a kind of good presentation skill. So if you are going to incorporate all these things in your news anchoring, definitely you will be becoming a good news anchor. So dear students, now you are thinking about the kind of exercise that you are supposed to do. So on the basis of today's tips that I just gave you about news anchoring, you are going to create a news anchoring program, and the duration of that program would be 5 minutes. Dear students, this particular subject is more practical in nature. Still, if you want to read something about news or the kind of thing, then you can visit the websites mentioned here, and apart from it, you can also purchase books. So, dear students, thank you very much, and I'm hopeful that this particular lecture would be very fruitful for you. If you are having any doubt, you require some kind of clarification about this particular lecture, then you're most welcome. You can write me on my email ID. My email ID is harish.kumar@galgotiasuniversity.edu.in. We'll meet again with my next lecture. Till then, bye bye, take care, and a very happy learning.